And we're recording too. Allison had to point
Nice.
that out. So, welcome. Episode 3, Staying Sane. I mean, well, technically it would be considered episode 4, but that was a special edition, so we don't count that in the numbers. This time we are live on multiple platforms. So, we are on Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, and Facebook. So as people join in, you'll see people from all across the board. But if you're paying attention to the video, you will see, as I'm kind of pointing to it, a chat there. So you'll be able to check out everything that's going on with everyone else that's talking. So you can join in and everyone can talk amongst themselves along with it. So, but before we dive into all that, if you don't know who I am, of course, I'm Jamie, aka, Nerdology 5280. And then, of course, on the other end, we have Mr. Ryan, aka Ryan Talks Nerdy on Twitter. So if you ever want to talk nerdy with him, so it makes me think of that. Have you heard that Jason Derulo song, "Talk Dirty to Me"?
Um, I've heard the Poison song.
It's a somewhat newer song, and it's "Talk Dirty to Me." You have to look it up online and just hear the chorus, and you'll see what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking about. Listen to some of the words of it and be like, "Oh, okay."
I listened to a bunch of music today at work, and I
Uh-huh.
think that the newest song I listened to was from like 1963.
Damn. Someone's listening old there.
Yeah. I was listening to some Elvis
Mm,
for a large portion of the day. Elvis
nice.
and some Ricky Nelson.
It
So
was one of those type of days. Yeah.
with me, it's always one of those type of days. I rarely ever listen to. I'm not a music guy. Like I rarely
Mm,
ever listen to like current music.
yeah. I I grew up with the whole like hip hop, and that's just kind of what I grew up with. That and classic rock. The hip hop I was just the people that I hung out with and the friends I had and stuff like that.
Nice.
But the classic rock from my dad. But so I'm always listening to like the old school hip hop, like the '80s and early '90s, and stuff like that, like the LL Cool J's, and
Okay.
even
And the
like Dr. Dre and Snoop
crisscrosses.
Dogg. Yeah, crisscross can't go wrong with some of that.
I
Some
I
Sir Mix a
played
Lot.
I played jump. No, what is it? Yeah, is it jump
Jump.
around
Hmm.
for the kid for
Oh,
my kids the other day?
not jump. It's just
Just
jump
jump. Yeah,
around. Yeah, just jump because jump around is
House of
what's
Pain
his?
or whatever.
Yeah,
Is it?
House of Pain.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was jump
Yes.
with
Yes.
Mac Daddy and Daddy Mac.
Hmm. Is that wiggity
Yeah,
wiggity? Is that miggity 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 ming Mac Daddy? Miggity
yeah.
miggity miggity
It
Mac.
was my younger son came down and he had his sweatpants on backwards.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, "Oh, are you trying to be crisscross?" And he's
They're
like,
like,
"What?"
huh?
So I played that video for him.
Yeah.
I was like,
One.
"Yeah, this was really popular when I was your age, actually." Like
Yeah.
91, 92 when I was 6, 7 years old.
Uh-huh. That was all the kids had to wear the clothes backwards. You had to pull down your pants to pee because you don't have the hole in the front.
Yeah, as you unzip and unbutton with your
From the
hands behind your
back.
back and not you're
Yeah.
not being able to like, hey bro, can you unzip me?
Yeah. They're like, no.
Nope,
It's
not
not
gonna
happening.
happen.
I think one of the dudes I think passed away.
Hmm.
Which is unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah, Mac Daddy, I think, was the
Hmm.
one a couple years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's some classic. I just saw within the last couple of years because Alice and I have went to a couple old school concerts, old school hip hop ones, and so we saw like Sir Mix a Lot.
Ooh, nice.
We've seen Vanilla Ice, who not a good performer at all. He was
Oh wow,
awful. The
that's
whole
too bad.
time he's putting the mic out for everyone else to sing. He barely put it up to him, to do anything, and it was just like every once when I say hey, you say ho, and it's like I don't want to listen to I don't want a concert like that.
Didn't do the ninja rap. That's his best. This is his best track.
Oh, he did do ninja rap, but it was very brief parts of it and all that
Oh,
stuff. Yeah, you know. We
He
got
did like a pseudo metal sequel song to that.
mm-hmm. That was on his uh metal album that he did. He did a full album.
Nice.
I think because I was like, oh, it's Vanilla Ice. I'm gonna, just look at it and see, and I bought the album. I don't know where it's at anymore. I think I probably sold it or something, but yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at
Nice.
all.
Nice.
Yeah, that was. I've seen a lot of the old school people. I mean, uh, Bismarcky was at
Okay.
that. I mean, we've had a lot of old school hip hop, like classic ones, and I'm always down for those. uh, anyways, hey, hey, Alice, welcome to the stream. Oh, yeah, I mean, music. I I listen. I like stuff that just gets me kind of like up and moving, kind of, stuff like that that gets me that beat. That's just what I've always liked. So I mean,
Yeah.
like nowadays, I do listen to a lot of like EDM and stuff like that, just because the beats and stuff like that. That's just how, like when I'm working, I just start. That's when I get in that groove and get in that groove. Just I'm good. Alice asking how we are.
Nice. Yeah, we're doing very well.
Doing good. Another day, almost end of the week, which nowadays doesn't matter much.
Yeah, it doesn't really. They all bleed together. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
taking some days off next week and the week after too. Just you remember how it was at this company where if once you've been there for a long enough time, you
Mhm.
bank like 20 vacation hours a month,
Which is crazy.
which is nuts. And I've been there for quite a while now,
Hmm.
so yeah, I'm banking like 2 to 3 days off a month. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, well, I'm back up there again. So time to take a day or two off.
That's the one thing I missed when I left is the vacation and the just the benefits in general, because the benefits are amazing there.
They were
So
good, and
yeah.
then they switched them over to this really crappy company for a year,
Hmm.
and so many people complained that they
Yeah.
switched it back. And it's
Oh,
like
nice.
the ones we have now are
Hmm.
like better than the ones that we had
Oh, wow.
before they made the switch.
Yeah.
So we're back with the same. I think it's like, is it? I think it's like Blue Cross Blue Shield or something that we're. Oh, it's
Yeah.
Cigna. It's Cigna that we're back with.
Okay.
And like we had them a while ago, and it was decent, and then they switched to this really crappy
Hmm.
company, and it was bad. It was terrible for a year, and then so many people complained. They're like, "We're gonna put you back on Cigna." And
It's like,
it's like
okay.
it's better than it was the first time. So we're like,
Yeah.
cool, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
That
I
worked
mean,
out.
mine's not bad. I'm with United Healthcare, so it's not awful or anything, but I mean,
Nice.
definitely not as good as that.
When I worked at
Which
Whole Foods, we had United.
uh-huh.
I loved them. I remember
Yeah.
when my first son was born, we were in the hospital for 2.5 days, 3 days, and the
Hmm.
only thing that we had to pay for, like after a couple months, we got the bill for the whole thing, and the only thing that we had to pay for was the the bris. The
Okay.
circumcision was
Yeah.
like $200.
Mm.
Everything else was like paid for. Everything else was paid for. Like yeah, we got you covered.
Nice. Nice. That
And
works. I
even then
mean,
the spouse, like I got a free meal from the hospital too, so like every time they would feed the wife, I'd get a free meal with it as well.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hey. That works. Can't beat that. Speaking of food, what'd you eat that didn't
Grilled cheese.
that's not no, not you, Alice.
Oh,
She said she ate something actually that's not good. We gotta get you like on your phone or something to pull up the restream thing so you can see the chat.
oh
I don't
yeah,
know if it will, so you can
I could probably
read
pull it
what's
up on the
going
iPad
on.
perhaps.
But yeah, what you eat? Um, yeah. So this week, I mean, we had, of course, our Star Wars episode there, so we don't need to dive much more. Ooh, ugh, raw chicken.
Raw
Yeah,
chicken, yeah, that's no good.
yeah. I've been there, done that. That's no good. I watch it now because my system would be like, no, you're sick now. You're sick for days. Um,
You will be
Yeah.
erupting for the
Uh
next.
huh. So, um, I know we talked about it briefly after the podcast that you never talked to anyone about, and I figured I'd bring it up anyways. Oh, yeah, Samuel L. Yeah. So hopefully you feel better though soon, because yeah, that's no good. That's yeah. Um, yeah, just take care of yourself. Definitely don't want to, with everything going on, especially you working at a grocery store and all that. But yeah, so we talked about briefly after. So Lord of the Rings, you said you
Yeah.
never get to talk. I made it through rewatching. I rewatched because I only do the extended version now. That's all I ever watch. I won't watch the
There's
regular.
no reason to watch the theatrical ones.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're gonna, they're 3 hours anyway, so it's like if you're gonna put in the time, do the 3.5 hour one and just get the full thing. Or they're
yeah,
like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Like
hmm
just just do it. The extended
yeah,
scenes are awesome.
yeah. Oh, it makes the story so much better. I mean, yeah, it's 15 hours of movie between three of them, but well, not quite. It's like 13 to 14, I think, is what it comes to.
Yeah.
Um, but it's so worth it. It's
Oh yeah.
definitely, you can't watch it any other way. So I made it through the first two, and I am like, I think an hour and a half into the third on
Nice.
rewatching it. I was trying to get it just rewatched just because I'm like, it's been a while since I'd seen it. I mean, I'll never forget it because I love them, that much. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's my favorite trilogy of all time, like overall trilogy for movies. That's I mean, that's saying a lot,
Yeah.
being the Star Wars fan and
There's
stuff like
a
that.
lot of
But
really good trilogies.
yeah, yeah. But
I
it's
mean,
my
there's the original
yeah.
trilogy. You got the,
hmm
well, I guess I was gonna say the Die Hard trilogy, but not so much. The the original
Oh boy.
Indiana Jones trilogy with
hmm
Raiders and Temple and Last Crusade is an
Yeah,
awesome movie
that's true.
trilogy.
But this one, it just, I don't know. Every single time, like, it just pulls me in, and it's so good. I mean, the story, the acting, the cinematography, the every aspect of it is so good. And to sit there and feel, 13, 14 hours of watching something and just not get bored,
Hmm.
that takes a lot. I
Yeah,
mean, uh, there's really nothing to it overall for me that I really don't like about it. You know, I mean,
yeah,
it's an epic trilogy. I mean, it's The Hobbit's a whole different story. You know,
yeah. The Hobbit has some high highs, but it's got a
yeah,
lot of really low lows.
yes,
There was a
yes,
lot of
yes.
swings and misses in the Hobbit trilogy for
other
sure.
other than they have to have the best, one of the best, if not the best, dragon ever
Oh,
that's
for
done.
sure.
I mean, that's hands down. But we won't talk about that. That's we can dive into that later if we want. So, I mean, what's your? I mean, I know you love Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because you were saying you never get to talk and whatnot. I'm like, I'm always down for it. I know we've done it. I think we've discussed in the past about the show
Mhm.
and kind of thinking, because we've got the show coming out that I think they put on a hiatus because of
They did, yeah.
the COVID,
They
unfortunately.
started filming in February, and then I think at the end of March they had to halt production on it, which is
hmm
too bad.
I know, I know, it sucks. So for what do you think the show's going to really entail? I
Man,
mean,
I really have no idea. I think we've got some good information, but they've
yeah,
been pretty they've kept it close to the chest on a lot of the stuff as far as like what the story's going to be. I know there was
hmm
some speculation early on that it was going to be young Aragorn because they said it was a prequel. Uh, One of the guys that's serving as like a consultant and is, I forget what his name is, Tom Shippey, I think.
hmm
He's like a European Tolkien scholar who's like a correspondent or a consultant for the
oh yeah,
show, stuff like that. He's kind of spoken a little bit about what the show possibly will entail, but he's made some claims regarding Tolkien's estate that Tolkien's estate has actually denied. So you don't really know if it's true or not, but he was saying that uh, the part of the deal with Amazon acquiring the rights from Tolkien's estate,
Mm-hmm.
that they had to produce the show within 2 years of signing the contract. They have a license for up to 5 seasons, and so far they've already renewed it for a second season
Mm-hmm.
before even starting to film. The first season is going to be, I think they said something like 20 episodes, possibly, like a
Wow.
pretty decently,
Mm-hmm.
pretty decent show here. But some of the claims that this guy was making is that they have to keep their story in the second age of Middle Earth. They can't
Mm-hmm.
touch anything in the third age, which
Yeah.
means there will be no crossover of the show with either the Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings story, let alone the Peter Jackson productions. Those
Mm-hmm.
aren't part of this deal. Even though they'll be filming this show in New Zealand as well. All of the sets, all of the production is going to be brand new, specific to the show. So there's not going to be any crossover production wise or story wise. Everything
Mm-hmm.
has to take place in the second age. So this is back when uh, like Sauron made the rings in the first place. Like this is the
Yeah.
age when the One Ring was forged. This is the age when like the Numenorians, who are like Aragorn's very distant ancestors, uh, first came into Middle Earth. So I mean, who
Mm.
knows? I've never read the Silmarillion or any of that stuff, so my second age knowledge is pretty lacking. So there's a lot of stuff that's coming out that is, one of those like neither confirmed nor denied kind of deal.
Yeah.
But we're getting from multiple sources that this show is going to take place solely in the second age, and it's going to be with original characters and stuff like that. So I really don't know what to expect at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's so up in the air. It definitely is. I'm thinking. I'm trying to look. I'm trying to remember when it takes place for. Because I played Lord of the Rings online. Because they came out
Mm-hmm.
their online, their MMO way back in 2007. Holy crap! It's been that long.
Nice.
I was an original player of it, and then eventually I kind of just stepped away from it. But I was trying to see when that took place. I think, because I don't remember. I don't think it's during the Third Age, but I could be wrong. Um, it's not really saying too much. Um, Oh yeah, it is during the Third Age. That's right. It is. It's been a while. I started to get back into it recently. Just playing it more. Because they've had it free for all their quests and all that stuff. Because it's a free to play game, but to get really into it, you've got to pay the monthly fee and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I've been playing it some the last month, a little bit, not much, and it's a really neat concept. But well, I'll get into that in a minute. Yeah, for the game, I'm not familiar, or for the TV show, I'm not that familiar with the Second Age either. I mean, I'm more Third Age. It's movies and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not the massive book reader or anything, so it's not like I've read the actual books, but I do my research, when it comes to that type of stuff, and I know that
Mm-hmm.
the movies followed the books really, really well. I mean,
Oh yeah.
and that's the one thing, especially with the Tolkien, you know, estate. They're very particular on all that. You said that about the 2 years, and that it's only 5 seasons, stuff like that. They're very, very particular on
Yeah.
what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. They
so,
don't they don't want anything to contradict Tolkien's what he's said has happened. It's
mm-hmm,
like, as far as the history that he says these are the events that have happened, like they can't change any of that stuff, but they can work around it. They can put stuff,
mm-hmm,
they can squeeze stuff in between some of those big events and stuff.
yeah,
But yeah, like they can't mess around with the bones of the story or change any of that sort of stuff.
mm-hmm, yeah, yeah. So they're very, very protective in that sense. Um, I mean, being with her protective and stuff like that. I'm not sure on overall like all the other stuff that they've done. I mean, they've done a lot of video games and stuff like that, but I know when it comes to live action and stuff, it's been very particular. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. Now I'm trying to remember because they had way back in the day the cartoon Hobbit,
Oh,
and I know it was amazing, but it's been so long since I've watched it. I don't remember how close that was to what it is, what the story was and stuff like
yeah.
that.
It holds up,
It
and
does.
they cut. I mean, obviously, it's like a 50-minute cartoon,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so they cut out a lot of stuff, but all the stuff that they kept in the movie
Mm-hmm.
is stuff from the book. Like they didn't just make stuff up and throw
Oh,
it in
nice.
there.
Yeah.
It's everything that happens in the cartoon happens in the book. They just cut out, you know, a third of the like a third of the
Mm,
chapters.
yeah. Which I mean, that's a good thing. Definitely a good thing. I mean, that's and that's being the particular ways with Tolkien's estate and all that stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially when you've got now have everything has to be based off kind of the movies. That's where most of the people are getting everything. Yeah, the books have been there and people have read them and all that stuff, but not the kind of going back to the general public. Not all of them have read those books, and more of them have seen the movie. And
Yeah.
especially having one that has won movie of the year for the
Oh yeah.
Academy Awards.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
because
think
that.
the trilogy itself was nominated for something like up to I think it was like up to 30 different Academy Awards over the 3-year run that it had,
Mm-hmm.
and it won like 17 different awards. Obviously, the biggest one being Best Picture for Return of the King.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like you said, like the movies are going to be pretty much at this point, like that's how people are being introduced to Lord of the Rings
Mm-hmm.
now is through those movies or The Hobbit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really important that if people are going to be coming to Tolkien's work through film and television, that it tries to hold up all the stuff that he had written because
Mm-hmm.
everything that he wrote was a friggin' masterpiece.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone loves his writing. He's such, it's you don't hear many complaints about it. So, um, but yeah, I guess for the show though, we're gonna just have to wait and see. I mean, we're not gonna see it probably till the end of next year is what I'm thinking now. I
Yeah,
mean, it's unfortunate, but
it
the
looks like
oh.
their production plan was they were going to film the first 2 episodes and then take 4 or 5 months off anyway
Uh-huh.
to work on the second season because
Hmm.
when with the second season renewed, it looks like they were gonna film them back to back.
Yeah.
So they might just take whatever time from this and subtract that from the 4 or 5 month hiatus that they were gonna do,
Hmm.
maybe, and then
Yeah.
and that way in their schedule they wouldn't really lose anything.
Hmm.
But then again, like if they're filming in New Zealand, the seasons might be different
Hmm.
because they're so who knows.
Yeah. It's
But
hard to say.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Barb. Allison's mom's on.
Oh, cool.
How are you? um, yeah, but it's a matter of locking down the actors and actresses and all the
Yeah.
staff and everyone for that time period because not many of them are going to live in New Zealand, although it is a gorgeous place to go. I mean, I've seen people do vlogs there and stuff like that. I mean, it's a beautiful place. That's one place that is on my bucket list to go. I want to go to New Zealand, and
Nice.
not just because of Lord of the Rings, just because it's a beautiful place. I
So you
mean,
could hunt for the wilder people.
yeah. It's just whenever you see people around there. I mean, it's just one of those areas. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to go to like Australia. I mean, because
Oh,
that
where
place is,
everything will kill you.
yeah, no,
The friggin' trees will kill you there.
yeah,
Pass. Have
no.
like 6 of the top 7 most venomous snakes and 8 of
Hmm.
the top 9 most venomous spiders and
No,
like
no,
yeah, my
no.
wife's like, you talking about Australia again? Yes. They got poisonous trees. Like they have There's like we were watching a show. I forget what it was for, but it was like random. It's like weird occurrences or something
Hmm.
like that. And it's like every 20 or so years in Australia, they have this weird like rat population explosion where all these farms in like southwestern
Hmm.
Australia are like overrun with just like a million rats. It's the
They just,
and
it's just like one massive, like orgy in a sense with them, and it just like
yeah, like you look
explodes.
out the window and
Yeah.
they're doing all God knows what, just right out where everyone can see. Just millions of rats just chilling on the farm,
That's
just
funny.
doing whatever. Yeah. I'm like, why would you want to live somewhere where it's like, oh, it's rat season again? Like
No.
spider season. There's like
Uh-huh.
a road there that's like lined with trees and it's like this beautiful road. But once a year, when all the spider eggs hatch, all the cars that are parked on the street are just covered in layers and layers of spider webs. Pass.
No,
Hard
that's
pass.
good. Yeah, I'm good with that. Well, welcome, Barb, for watching the first time live. Definitely appreciate it. Yes, my YouTube has been sitting there for a while, but it's back, so kind of. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. That's no. I mean, it would be cool to go to Sydney. It's a cool city, but it's not something that's like on the top of my list. That's why I'm like, I'll just go to New Zealand. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
right next to it. New Zealand's a lot more beautiful place. And then you add in everything like the country burning down and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, it's not a pretty place to, you
No.
know.
No way.
Yeah.
Like half the podcasts I listen to are like true crime podcasts, and I
Uh-huh.
think three of them are from the hosts are Australian. So half the episodes are talking about Australian crimes. I'm like, yeah, the people there are just as crazy as the people here, man. Like the
Hmm.
Kiwis down in New Zealand are so much more laid back. Like that's more my speed, Like
Yeah.
it's beautiful there. Everyone's mellow, just
Hmm.
having a good time.
Hmm.
Everyone's dying in Australia because the suicide tree stung them.
Yeah.
No
Something,
thanks.
yeah, no. No good. No. Anyways, so what is it's, back to Lord of the Rings. Take that left, that right, or hard right or hard left turn, one of those directions, and then we try and merge back in. But it's the whole nature of the beast.
Yeah.
So question:
Yeah.
out of the three movies, what's your favorite?
Probably Return of the King. Although I feel like Fellowship is the most rewatchable, if only because Return of the King is like 30 minutes or 40 minutes longer,
Mm-hmm.
even like with the extended cut. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like extended Return of the King is like 4.5 hours long. It's probably not, but it feels like it's 4.5 hours long. Whereas like extended Fellowship still is manageable.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the sense of wonder that they really managed to give to the hobbits in Fellowship. Uh, they did make some changes and leave some stuff out to kind of get the story going a little faster. Like the hobbits leaving Hobbiton and getting into Bree and then getting into Rivendell
Mm-hmm.
is a lot more expedited in the movie. But like the way when they meet Strider is so good, and the duel on Weathertop just it looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just love that one. I like the
Yeah.
battle at the end on Amon Hen is
Mm-hmm.
is really good. By the Falls of Roros, and I don't know. I think
Yeah.
that one they did such a great job with Fellowship,
Yeah.
Moria and Lothlorien. It's all
Mm-hmm.
so good. I mean, the battles in Return of the King you can't
Can't
argue with,
beat.
but I just think that they got the sense of wonder and danger and just the sense of grandeur that you get with the elves and all that stuff and seeing like Moria and like seeing it in disrepair and having fallen and just I don't know.
Yeah.
They nailed it with Fellowship. Like it set the tone for all six of the Jackson movies. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, I
Yeah.
think Fellowship is my answer.
So you went from Return of the King all the way,
Well, I think Return of the
around and
King is the
around, and then
best
went to,
movie of
yeah.
the three of them, but I
Uh-huh.
think I enjoy watching Fellowship the
Fellowship the
most.
most, yeah. So Fellowship is, let's see, Fellowship. The extended cut is 3 hours 28 minutes. 3 hours 55 minutes for the Two Towers, and 4 hours 18 minutes for Return of the King.
Yeah, so
So
almost an
yeah,
hour longer.
yeah. So, but I mean, also, you have to, and it's through all three of them. They have the longest credits of any single movie ever. You know,
Oh
because it's 20 plus minutes of credits on each one. It just and it keeps rolling and rolling and rolling, and I'm like,
They list every
yeah,
single employee for
uh
Weta
huh,
Workshop,
uh
including
huh,
the HR representatives and
mm-hmm.
like the
Yeah,
secretaries and
everyone,
everybody, all the
everyone,
babies,
yeah.
and it's like because the movies always do like production babies, and it was like a year and a half long production. They filmed
Mm-hmm.
all three movies like concurrently and edited all
Yeah,
of them. So
I
it was
know.
like, here's the production babies. It's a whole
Mm-hmm.
entire like baseball team and their farm system and all the
Mm-hmm.
minor leagues worth of
Mm-hmm.
just babies. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was. I know it was ridiculous. So, my favorite is Return of the King. I mean, it's the battles, the epicness, the action, and just the adventure with it and all that stuff. But I see where you're coming from with rewatchability. The first one because of it's not quite as long, but there's so many beautiful places to see in it, and
Yeah.
just stuff like that. Because the third one is so much more darker and grim and all that.
Yeah. Very much so.
But one of my favorite scenes out of all of them, though, is in the Two Towers at the very end when you see the Ents destroying everything. They just come plowing through and just I mean, take out Saruman and take out, just all the orcs and all that stuff. And I'm like, that right there is my favorite, battle overall because I like those guys. I mean, it's like I want to be one of the hobbits chilling on their,
Just
shoulder.
sitting on the shoulder. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Throwing rocks at the orcs and hit them in the head, knocking them out.
I like how they trick them. It's
Hmm.
like the whole thing with the Ents is like, we're not going to be hasty and all this. And so they're like, well, just, take us over there because they
Hmm.
won't see us. And it was like in a split second, he sees the destruction of the forest along Isengard. And he's like, all right, you know what? It's time for some freaking haste. To hell with this crap. And he
Yeah.
just calls, and all the Ents just slowly walk out of the trees.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
it's a good.
they
That
show
was a
up.
fun level in the Lego game too.
Oh, I don't know if I've. See, I got to go back and finish playing that because I played some of it. I've never finished it.
It's really
Um,
good. It's worth a
mhm.
playthrough.
Yeah.
It's one of the better. I would rank it probably not as good as like the complete saga for Star Wars back
Hmm.
when it was just the 6 episodes.
Yeah.
I probably not as good as that one, but like definitely better than like the Harry Potter ones, the
Okay.
Pirates of
Yeah.
the Caribbean ones, the Indiana Jones ones.
Hmm.
It was before like the newer systems, so it was before like Lego, Marvel,
Yeah.
and DC superheroes and stuff, where they give
Yeah.
you like just these massive Lego games that we have
Yeah.
now.
Hmm.
But like for the earlier systems and for the earlier Lego games, it's definitely worth playing all the way through. A lot of unlockables and stuff make it worthwhile.
Hmm. I I know because I think I have it from the three Xbox 360. I believe is what I had it on. That I think I don't know if I've actually bought it. I think it was a free game with Xbox or something like that that I got, but
Nice.
it is on there to play. But there's just so many Lego games. I mean, it just and they keep coming out with more and more and more.
Yeah,
I mean,
they just announced. Well, I mean, they had announced it before, but then they just
mm-hmm,
announced it with like the box art. Finally,
mm-hmm,
was the Skywalker's Lego Skywalker Saga
yeah,
on Star Wars Day. We didn't even mention that during the show.
oh,
We were
that's
trying to
true.
keep it
Yeah,
quick, but yeah, they just
yeah,
released that with the box art. But yeah, I mean, they come out with Lego games for any franchise now.
mm-hmm,
I'm
yeah.
surprised they haven't done like a Lego Disney Princesses where you play through all of like the Lego like the Disney cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
but they add in all this stuff where the princesses actually get to be badass and
Oh,
have sequences where they're
uh-huh.
actually the ones rescuing the princes and stuff.
Yeah,
Like how have they not done that yet? Whatever.
it's a good question. It's a
That'd
good
be cool.
question.
Like
I
I would
mean,
love to just like beat the crap out of some like French peasants as Belle and the Beast. You know, like that'd be awesome.
Allison would be all over that one.
Yeah,
She'd be
that's what I'm
like, Beauty and the
saying.
Beast Legos? Yeah.
Like this is a game that couples can play together. Like throw it
Uh,
out there.
she threw, so I bought, they made these like storybook ones. I don't know if you've seen those little Lego sets for the Disney princesses. And it's like kind of like a book. It's inside and you build like a little scene and all that. And I got her
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Beauty
yeah.
and the Beast one,
Nice.
and I didn't even. It had been sitting here for a while, because I'm so because you sit on your sets for sometimes for a while before you get a chance to build them. But she just brought it out one day and started building it herself, and I'm like, that's my girl right there. She's loving her
Nice.
Legos. Like that's
Nice.
awesome. Yeah,
Like that would be a Lego game to,
yeah.
the whole family can get in on it.
Uh huh.
Mom, the
Mm-hmm.
missus, they can play that with you.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, it would be fun. I mean, but I don't know if they have, because it's because Lego does the Lego sets, but the issue could be is Warner Brothers is the one who does the Lego games, and you know who Warner Brothers owns that is competing against Disney and Marvel.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that could be an issue there, and that could be why we haven't seen it.
They did
You know,
Lego Incredibles,
true. That's true.
and that had unlockable characters, but it was all the Pixar. It was the Disney
Yeah,
Pixar stuff, and not
that's
the
true.
regular
I didn't even
Disney.
think about that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and they've done, of course, Lego Marvel. That's true,
Yeah.
and that's been since they've since Disney's owned it. So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just because they are so particular on their properties sometimes, especially the old school ones. You know, the ones that are from back in the day, like the Beauty and the Beast, Snow White. You know, Cinderella,
Well, they
stuff
keep
like those.
remaking them live action, then
Uh huh.
base the movie on the or base the game
Yeah.
on the live action movies. Then
True. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It
Who
would be
knows?
interesting though.
Maybe
So
someone from Disney or Traveler's Tales or Lego or someone will come across this
yeah. Like,
video and
come
be
on.
like, that's a brilliant idea.
It's a great idea. You need to be like on run across and get on the show, the Lego Masters. Did you ever watch that?
No, I haven't. I've got all of them like backed up because I put it on my list on Hulu,
Mm-hmm.
and I just haven't gotten to them.
Oh, you need to be watching that, dude. It was crazy, just epic in a sense of seeing some of these builds and the way the designs came together and how they had to do certain things, and there's different guest appearances and stuff. I mean, it is a Fox show, so all of Fox shows, any of their live action stuff, live stuff, they um the realities and all that stuff, they have to bring in guest stars from their other shows to help promote. That's just how Fox does it. But yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff that happened throughout it. I mean, and to know that the guy that voiced Batman,
Hmm.
in the Lego Batman is the one that does it.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Okay. But yeah, I recommend it. It was fun. It was a ton of fun, and I'm excited for season 2. They are definitely doing it. Picked up for second season. So
nice,
I'm like,
very
cool.
cool.
Let's keep it going. I won't ever complain. Speaking of that, there's a Lego thing. Um, but yeah, it's a fun watch. But yeah, that would be cool. Like, eh, they'd be like, huh, this guy said this. Because we know they said Lego because it's on YouTube, so it got hit with the Lego. So, let's steal that idea because he doesn't need credit for it.
There's probably something in the terms of service where it's like, if you mention a trademarked product, you will lose all rights to, you
Uh
know,
huh.
something in there that everyone
Hmm.
just clicks through and hits agree, and
Yeah.
I forfeit all claims of,
I would put it past him. I would not put it past him at all.
I thought I saw, and I don't know if it was authentic or not, but it was something like Disney and Twitter had come up with an agreement where anyone that used the hashtag May the 4th, they would be that Twitter would give those tweets to Disney, and Disney would have the rights to use any of those tweets in
Hmm.
like promotional material in future Star Wars Day stuff without your permission.
That's
Yeah, I
really.
didn't check the I saw something like that going around, but
What?
I never checked the
Uh
authenticity.
huh.
But like
Yeah.
that like in the Twitter agreement, they have there's something like they have the rights to use any of your tweets that you send out
Uh huh.
in their promotional stuff
Hmm.
without getting your approval or having to compensate you or whatever.
Yeah.
Anything that you tweet, Twitter technically owns the tweet.
Hmm.
So it was like something like Twitter and Disney had an agreement that they would give them. But yeah, again, I didn't check the authenticity, so I have no idea if that was just someone making it up or if that was true. But again, like all these user agreements, I wouldn't be surprised if these companies are sneaking something in there like that.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it. I definitely would not put it past them. I mean, anyone and everyone, especially Disney. Come on, Disney is known as one of the
Oh yeah,
greediest companies out there. Plus, their properties, they baby it. They're just like Nintendo when it comes to that
oh yeah.
type of stuff. They don't want their properties to go anywhere. So I mean, that's uh, I could definitely see that, and definitely come across it. I mean, um, but yeah, it's unfortunate because they got so much good stuff out there. I mean, they did license their stuff to Square Enix for um, the it's just your blank on the name.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts, yeah. So for all those that they've been doing, which is
Mm-hmm.
surprising, but I've played some of them, but I've never like really played them like heavily or anything like that. But people love
Okay.
them, you
Yeah,
know.
I played the original way back in my PS2 days when I had one of those.
Hmm.
Loved it. It was a great
Yeah,
game.
yeah. Now they're up to what? There's Kingdom Hearts 1, 1.5, 1.51. I don't know,
Yeah.
2, 3. Kingdom
There was all those
Hearts.
like mobile games that were
Yeah.
released only in Japan that were like
Hmm.
2, 3, and 4.9 and
Yeah.
what have
Some
you.
weird shit.
I think
Yeah.
the one that came out last year or whatever was like Kingdom Hearts
Yeah.
7 or something
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's like, all right, cool. I played
Sure.
the first one. Didn't know
Whatever.
that they had made so many of these, but
Yeah, I know. It's yeah, and the graphics are great. I know Dale bought the third one, and I did start playing it because we have that Xbox share. Played it a little bit, but since I never really played the first two, I'm like, I did buy the first. It's like the complete set for. I don't know if it was on my PlayStation or X. I think it was on my PlayStation. That it was only for that I bought it, which I don't bust out my PlayStation anymore. I barely play it, but I'm like, I should probably play those first and then go into, you know. But,
yeah, maybe.
one of these days, I don't know. It's my backlog of games is just ridiculously large. And there's always more and more coming out and more being added. And I mean, it's nonstop. I mean, let alone it was at Xbox today. They did this big preview for all their new game, a bunch of new games coming out for the Xbox One X, or Xbox Series X, and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, great, a few more games, just what I need. I barely have time to do right now. Play what I have right now. I mean, like I just need to pick and choose or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, because only so much time in the day.
Oh yeah, for
It's
sure.
not like a comic where you can pick it up and just read it, and then you're done, with that
Mhm.
issue for 2 weeks or a month. This
Yeah.
is, the games, most of them nowadays, a lot of them I play are 30, 40 hours long. And then
Yeah.
you add in all the side quests and all that stuff. And next thing you know, you're 100 plus hours.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like a nice 10, 20 hour game, 40-hour game if I have like a long weekend or something.
mm-hmm.
Although I've put like over 285 hours into Breath of the Wild.
Jesus. There's that
Love
much
that game.
content in there?
I love that game.
Or are you
Well,
just
yeah.
replaying?
So there's 100. No, I haven't replayed. There's 120 shrines alone,
Oh, yeah.
and then I bought all the DLC for it, which added I think 10 or it added 12 more shrines, So
Okay.
I've completed all of those, and it added there was like this quest that when you complete it, you power up your master sword, and like the quest alone took 4 or 5 hours, but it was really fun. I don't know, I just something about that game really got to me. It was like it was
Hmm.
an awesome Zelda game. It was, but it was a completely brand new world, and it was massive, and there was so much to explore. And one
Yeah.
of the cool things they did in one of the downloads is it has like the heroes beacon or whatever it is, and
Okay. Yeah.
it's like a 5 minute video, and it's just the map of all of Hyrule,
Eh,
and then it has like a little line that goes all around the map that shows everywhere you've walked for the last 200 hours of the game. So you just see
Jesus.
the map slowly fill up this bright blue because that's how the cursor is, and you
Uh-huh.
just see like little patches like, oh, there's where I discovered that area and I found all of those. It's cool to like see it. I don't know. It's just such a fun game. I've
Uh-huh.
been like going through and like collecting all of the materials that I need to fully upgrade like all of my uh not costumes but like all of the clothes that you wear and
Okay. Yeah.
everything. And it's like there were all these extra quests when you did the DLC that added all these additional suits of armor and things that you can wear. And there were
Hmm.
like various, it was like riddles, like you have a riddle and then you have to solve the riddle, and then when you solve the riddle you find a treasure chest, and inside the treasure chest is like a new helmet. And
Yeah.
then once you unlock that, then you get the next riddle for like the next piece of that set.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've put like over 285 hours into Breath of the Wild. Sometimes I just like I'll turn it on and I'll hop on my master cycle, which was part of the DLC. It's a motorcycle. That's the horse. It's the motorcycle from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Okay. Yeah.
The Link, because you have
Yeah.
Link, and then there's the motorcycle that's
Yeah.
like the shape of the horse. Sometimes I'll just get in and I'll just get on the motorcycle and I'll just drive around Hyrule for like 15 minutes,
Jesus.
and wherever I end up, I'll just explore. I'm like, I should climb that. I haven't climbed that mountain right there in this game yet. I'll do that. And then I get up there and it's like, hey, a Korok seed. Dope. I've got
Oh,
like
sweet.
300 of those, and there's like 900 to find in the game. So if I really wanted to, I could print out a listing of all 900 and just go through and start collecting each one.
That's
Like there's
ridiculous.
right, like
Jeez.
I'm looking at it, there's still hundreds
That's
of hours of exploring that I could do in this game. I don't know, it's just a lot of fun.
uh-huh.
And it I imagine that that's what the experience was like the first time someone played the original Zelda game, the original Legend of Zelda on the NES, because it
Yeah.
was a lot like that. It was really difficult, super friggin' easy to die. There's like
Mm-hmm.
nothing anywhere tells you where to find anything. You just have to guess. You have
Mm-hmm.
to randomly find weapons and figure out how to use them and stuff. So I'm like, this must be what that felt like, because I think I played that for the first time when I was too young, and I'm like, this game is hard and it sucks. So like my first Zelda game wasn't until Ocarina of Time on N64,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
these games are too hard
Yeah. See, I
because I was a
played the
kid.
original Zelda. That was my first. That was the first game I ever beat, like fully
Wow.
beat. And I was, I mean, I was what 6 when it first came out, but that was just kind of what I grew up around. I mean, we got the Nintendo when I was, that young, and that was that first game. And when I beat it, that's when my dad said, "Okay, I'm never playing games with you guys again because I can't get anywhere on here, and you've already beat it." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever. I'm still gonna play games. I'll play
Yeah,
it all my life. I don't
you're never
care."
gonna stop.
Yeah, and it's still going strong. But yeah, it was. I mean, that was exploring that, as much as I can remember, just because I was a kid, and so much younger, but exploring it and just the feeling of seeing all the different things and learning all the different things with it, and not knowing, like you say, I mean, you don't have the internet where you can quickly Google something.
Mm-mm.
You don't have that. I mean, even I think, what is it, the Prima or whatever, the strategy guides that
Yeah.
they've had been around for like 30 years or something, they weren't even out at that time yet. So
Mm-mm.
it's not like you had that. I mean, to help you out, the game Genie wasn't even out yet, to help you cheat on most of these games. I mean,
Yeah.
so it was definitely an experience and a good learning experience, and that's, I mean, because of that game, that's why I'm a gamer nowadays. I would not be a gamer if it wasn't for Legend of Zelda. flat out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely a fun, epic game, and beating it at the end after you faced off against, um, especially faced off against all the enemies that you've thrown, went through the whole game to build up your hearts and all that stuff. It was just, it felt so good. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it just, it was a good feeling, and being young, you're like, that's an accomplishment. It's not
Oh
like a
yeah,
lot of
for
people,
absolutely.
beat it back then. So yeah, but Breath of the Wild, at first I loved it, and then I don't know what it was. I've never even beat it.
Oh wow.
I have not beat it. I think I've got to, what is it? It's been a while since I played. There was 4 different areas you had to go to,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um, and I think 2 of the 4 is what I finished, and then that was it. I don't know what it was. It was just kind of, I lost interest, and it was during the, well, it's right when it came out, was during the time period, about a year or 2 years, when I was kind of, that was when I was buying new games all the time, and it's not that it was too many games I was buying, but it was so many of these games, I just, stuff wasn't grabbing me as much. What I like to do and stuff like that changed, and I was, and all that stuff. I mean, and I just kind of, I see flashes.
Oh yes,
Oh, it's the TV.
yeah.
Yeah,
The wife's watching the TV, and
yeah.
someone on the show's taking pictures.
mm.
There's a real little thunderstorm going on over here.
I'm like, you got the dance floor. I'm waiting for, get some fist pumping going on.
Throw on some Young MC and bust a move.
Yeah. I saw he was one of the guys at that old school concert that I went to. Yeah.
Young
Yes.
MC is
Uh-huh.
awesome.
Yes, he's a
I just want to
classic.
I just want to put that out there.
Uh-huh. Yes. Don't just stand there, bust a move. You want? Baby, you got it. All right, I'll stop singing because everyone's gonna be like, "All right, click. Let's find a
Yeah,
different podcast."
that was a good show
Yeah.
until then.
Yeah. Episode 3. I hope that was their last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, no, it's but yeah, I think it was during that time period a lot of those games just weren't pulling me in, and I was just kind of like to the point that I was like, I'm done. um just buying the new ones and trying to like beat them in certain amount of times and everything. I'm going to take my time to get through this stuff, and I just haven't gone back. So
Yeah. Yeah, that was, I mean, because when that had first come out, that was what, March 2017. Like you had your channel going for like about a year. You had just moved up into your office that you had upstairs at your
Yeah.
last place.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we were getting things going with our show, and you were also doing unboxings and all kinds of videos. Plus you were doing, I don't know how many different Let's Plays you were doing
Oh
each
God,
week.
yeah.
So, I mean, you were
Yeah.
super busy playing all kinds of new
Uh-huh.
games. Yeah, I could see you just like, you're like, I don't have an hour and a half to just sit down and just mess around in this game right now, especially a game like Breath of the Wild, where there's not really a linear story to follow. It's like, here's a mystery. You don't really remember who you are. On your map are certain locations that are kind of marked where your memories are. And like, if you find those, it'll unlock parts of the story. But if you don't, you have no idea what's going on. It's like, there's 4 main dungeons that you have to do in order to be able to, get into Hyrule Castle and fight Ganon and have a chance of beating him, unless you're one of those like glitch player people that have all these things that they can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like, the story only unfolds if you find it. So it's, yeah, I one of my other buddies, is a big Legend of Zelda gamer, and he beat the game and he liked it, but it wasn't his favorite, and like, I don't think he's revisited it.
Yeah.
And he didn't have everything unlocked when he beat it, but like, he's just never picked it back up because he's like, it just doesn't hold me. And I'm like, see, I went and I found all of the memories first, because it's like, it tells you blank out of blank when you get them. It's like 0 of 15 or 0 of 20. And like I would go to the places, I would find the memories, I'd mark them on my map to make sure, that I was getting them and unlocking them so that I knew what the story was. And I think that
Yeah.
is another part that pulled me in and why I was having so much fun exploring. Because I mean, this is the first Zelda game that we've had like cutscenes and with voiceover and stuff. So
Yes.
I was having a really good time with
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah, that, and then the fact that your equipment could break and you had to keep eating. It was very more involved for this one. And I mean, I can't say much because I mean, a lot of the games that I do play are that way, but not like the necessary of what they did for it. I mean,
Yeah.
even playing like all the Assassin's Creed, those are massive open world games, and I mean that puts uh, some of those put the world of Hyrule in Breath of the Wild to shame with how big those worlds are.
Yeah.
But you don't have to keep repairing your weapons. You don't have to keep eating. You don't have to keep doing all those little things that you had to do with it. And I'm like, when I play a game like that, I want to play it that way, unless it's like, I mean, I don't even think Skyrim was that way, from what I remember. Elder Scrolls Skyrim,
Yeah,
from
the
what I
weapons
remember.
breaking sucks. I was not a big fan of that. And then
Yeah.
yeah, having to cook the food. Eventually you get to the point where you've got so much stocked up that you
Mm-hmm.
can sit there for 10 minutes and make 20 dishes that will, fully replenish your hearts.
Yeah.
And then it's not that big of a deal. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's still yeah, that's like the one thing I don't like about the game. Like, and I understand the people's complaints with the lack of linear story as well. Because one thing that the Zelda franchise has been so good about since the early days is a really in-depth story, a really compelling characters and
Yeah.
everything like that. And in this
Mm-hmm.
one, they're like, if you want the story, you go find it.
Mm-hmm.
So I get those complaints, and yeah, the weapons breaking, man, that sucks when you're like in a shrine and you're fighting one of the guardians, and
Mm-hmm.
your strongest weapon breaks, and all you have left is like a torch, and you're like, well, this
Yeah.
does 3 damage, so
Like,
this
this ain't gonna do
freaking
shit.
sucks. Like I'm gonna have to hit him with stasis
Yeah.
and then throw a bomb at him, and I'm gonna have to do that 500 times.
Yeah. Like, this is no
It's
fun.
gonna,
I
gonna
mean.
take an hour and a half. Like now I have to
Yeah.
leave the shrine, go
Mm-hmm.
find weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are definitely some things about the game that can be improved on when they do the
Mm-hmm.
sequel. I think one of the things that they should do when they do the sequel is just keep the map the exact same. Like, don't waste your time building a new world. This world is massive. Just give us new stuff to do in this world and change some of the functionality. Like, change the weapon thing,
Yeah.
change the hearts thing, make it so that you can catch fairies easier or something, you know?
Yeah. Or I mean, and that's fine, with keeping the land the same, but I think they need to do some sort of expansion in a way of seeing something new for land, because you don't want to be running across it and be like, oh, I remember that, I remember that, I remember that, I remember that. And
Yeah,
people are going to be like, I've already played this. I'm done playing. Why am I playing this anymore?
right.
You know,
Like
type deal.
take all 120 shrines out, but then
Hmm.
add extra stuff.
Yeah. Do like, just maybe some islands off to the side that you have to go to as part of the story or something like that, or some, little different things, that you can do and
Yeah,
build to it. And, I mean, a real successful franchise that's done that with multiple games now is Grand Theft Auto. They've revisited places on each one, but then they've expanded on each one, and
yeah,
found ways to make it bigger and better. I mean, yeah, their most recent, Grand Theft Auto 5 is, yeah, a revisit from a previous one, but it was a massive world, and then the online element is what kept people going, you know?
yeah.
Maybe they do an
Definitely.
online with it.
We could do
I
something
mean,
like that. Would be kind of cool.
there's,
Have a like go into a
yeah.
dungeon with like two other links
Hmm.
with you, or a couple Zeldas and a link or something.
Can't
Or
you do that with one on, it was on the DS, I think?
yeah, it was
Not
on
the,
the
was it the
DS. It was
DS
originally
or
on the GameCube. It was
GameCube?
called
Yeah,
Four Swords
that's right.
Adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they released one on the 3DS. You're right. It's called Triforce
3DS,
Heroes.
yeah. Hmm.
And if you
Yeah.
have three DSs or three 3DSs,
Hmm.
You can play a 3-player game where each person will control a different Link when you're in a level. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I know that the next one, it's like a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild that has to do with Ganon himself actually coming back. So like once you defeat Calamity Ganon at the end of Breath of the Wild, his like spirit is released, and eventually Ganondorf himself comes back like in his physical body.
Yeah.
So they could do something where, because Breath of the Wild takes place like 100 years or something after the actual event occurred. So they could do something where, and it's not unheard of in Zelda games, to do some sort of time travel. Like
Hmm.
they're finding Ganondorf in the present, trying to stop him from coming back. And in
Yeah.
the meantime, they're going back into the past to try to prevent him from doing that so that in the present day, when he gets there, it's like
Hmm.
maybe Ganon is able to be resurrected because he's set up these like 12 other specific shrines. And so you're fighting him in the present, you're going back to the past to try to prevent him from doing the things in the shrines in the first place. So I mean that way it's the same map, but like you said, it's still completely fresh, completely brand new. This is a Legend of Zelda is definitely my favorite Lord of the Rings video game.
Nice, nice. Yeah, there's so many different ways to go about it. They can do it. I mean, and they keep reinventing so many good things with it, but with having the same characters over and over and over again, but find a way. It's like they reinvent the wheel every time.
Yeah.
With it, and it works. A lot of the times it does. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
um, there's been a few that have been a little iffy. I mean, here and there. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Wind Waker. Um, it just the game. I don't know. The whole sailing part of it and all that stuff. It just no. I
Even the
don't.
Wii U
Yeah.
remaster where they added like fast sail, the like where
Uh
you
huh.
sail twice as fast and you can also change
Yeah.
direction while sailing so that you didn't have to stop. Um,
Yeah.
it didn't help at all. Like I still, when I play it, I always get bored and I lose interest and I stop playing at the same part every single time, which is after you do like the Earth dungeon
Hmm.
and then the Triforce splits into 8 pieces and you have to go to the different islands. But before you go to the islands, you have to find the 8 charts and then those charts will tell you which islands to go to. So really, there's 16 things that you have to find and not 8. I always lose interest there and I'm like, I'm not. That's still the only.
Done.
Well, I haven't. I still haven't. I've never beaten Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link. I still have
Okay.
never beaten the second one on the
Hmm.
NES. I've still never beaten that one, and I've never played Skyward Sword just because it came out at just a not good time for me financially, and I've
Yeah.
never been able to go back and pick it up.
Hmm.
So I've never played that one. But yeah, Wind Waker is the one that I've only. It's the only console game that I've only beaten one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess
It's
Breath of the Wild technically I've only beaten one,
but you put in,
but I've put
200
in
plus
almost
hours. Yeah,
300
almost
hours
300.
on it.
Yeah.
So
Give and take a few here there. But I mean, Breath of the Wild is the first like real, massive open world one where there's just so many other things to do and whatnot. I mean, all of them
yeah,
were open and technically open world games. They're sandbox games, is what they call
yeah,
them. I mean,
yeah.
um, I can God, I can remember a buddy who always fought me on it, and he was like, because we would talk about games and all that, and he was like, "Yeah, the very first sandbox game was this one on the Dreamcast." I'm like, they were doing it back on the Nintendo, right? I mean, open world game, yeah. Zelda, you could go anywhere. Yeah, you had to go into different screens to get there, but it was still an open world game, and you could go freely. Nothing was
Mhm.
holding you back, except for certain places you had to open up something to get to it, but then it was open, and
Yeah,
that is still an open world game.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those have been around for a very, very long time. Even what was it? Some of the games on the Atari, like what was it, E.T. It's kind of considered an open world
ET,
game.
the game that
Yeah.
almost destroyed the home console
Uh huh. Yeah.
industry.
Uh huh. It's technically an open world game
It's
because
open world.
you're going exploring around, from screen to screen in that sense.
Oh man.
I mean,
E.T. Yeah.
yeah,
The,
that's
the game that almost single-handedly destroyed the
destroyed.
video game
Uh-huh.
industry before it even
Yeah. Yeah.
before it even started.
It sunk Atari, and Atari never was able to come back to their gloriness of the 2600. You know.
Never again.
Yeah.
Atari is just like, oh, that's that cool thing that I used to play before video games were cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
I used to play that when I had my headgear,
Uh-huh.
man. That's a thing of the past.
Yeah, that's way back then. I mean, I mean, they're still around nowadays. They're doing the Atari VCS. It's like a virtual console type thingy or something. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, they're trying to kickstart crowdfund. I don't know. Trying
They could
to. I don't
do.
know. Yeah.
There's the AT games that makes like the clone systems that
Mm-hmm.
have where it's like it's got a ROM built in that has drivers for all the various games.
Oh
So
yeah.
like we have one of those. It's an Atari, but I don't think we've ever played it. But we have a Sega Genesis AT games console
Okay.
thing as well
Yeah.
too. But yeah, they're always coming out with like it's like the little dongle that you plug into the TV and it's got like a wireless remote with it and it's got 5 games on it, you know.
Uh huh.
Like there's still fun classic games to play,
Yeah.
but
But
it's just it's just nostalgia at this
yeah,
point.
it is, and that's what Atari is. I mean, if you've seen the story of it, it's interesting how like everything evolved with it and went. I mean, what's his name? I can't even think of his name. One of the original guys with it, had his hands in like Chuck E. Cheese and all that too. It was interesting how all that stuff kind of was combined together and whatnot. So, um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no. Then Nintendo came out and there went that.
Well, the video game industry was almost dead, and then the Famicom
Mm-hmm.
was a hit in Japan. They're like, hey, we should sell this in the US too.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like investors were like, I don't know. And then Mario saved the day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why Mario isn't everybody's favorite video game character. Like he paved the way for everything.
True.
Like he still
Maybe.
blazes trails. Like
Yeah.
I mean, say what you will about Nintendo, it's like yeah, they're kind of like the Star Trek movie series where every other system is really good and sells
Yeah.
really well, and then every other system is trash.
Yeah.
But like they've never stopped innovating. They're always like at the front lines of innovation as far as like not necessarily like innovating new ways to improve the graphics that are already amazing, but like
Yeah.
they're innovating ways to enjoy games
Mm-hmm.
and types of games, you know?
I mean, they keep doing it and doing it and doing it. I mean, look at it's just the way throughout history. I mean, you look at the Wii. I mean, of course, then the Wii U was just a flop and mistake,
Yeah.
and
But it paved the way for
know.
the Switch.
yeah,
Like we wouldn't have the Switch if they didn't fail at the Wii U.
yeah, exactly. And then the Wii. I mean, the Switch is just incredible. I mean, I've got it right next to me.
Oh, my
mean,
son was asking me today, like, Dad, what are your top 3 Nintendo systems? Because him and his buddy are like really into the Nintendo 64 right now, and he was telling me like, oh, the Nintendo 64 was the greatest Nintendo system ever. And I'm like, dude, that was my system.
Yeah.
And I'm like listing off all these games that I had for it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh my god, you had that. Oh my god, you had that. I'm like, dude, we still have it. It's in a box in your grandmother's basement. We still have this. I still have all of that stuff.
It's still there.
But I was telling like the Switch, obviously, and not just because like it's the new system, but because it's the most innovative system that they've made, and they're so far like for what it's capable of doing, they've utilized it to its fullest extent already, and it's only been 3 years.
Yeah.
Like they've, I mean, there's some things that they can improve on. Like I wouldn't be opposed to them adding a Nintendo 64 online thing like they have with the NES and the SNES, or at least adding like an eShop, all those titles. Like the one thing that they seem to be lacking is their virtual console. But like it was one of those things too where like Nintendo's constantly coming up with these new things where they're like, here's the new thing, and I'm like, I don't care about that. And then I get it and I'm like, dude, I absolutely love this. This is so convenient. Like
Mm-hmm.
the portability of the Switch. I'm like, I'm never not going to play it on my TV. And
Yeah.
half the time I'm playing Switch, I'm not on my TV.
Yeah.
It's the, and I
I
like,
know.
who knew
I
that
sit
that
here,
was going to matter?
right in
And it
front
was
of me.
yeah, and it was the same thing with the Wii. Like I didn't think motion controls were going to be cool. I didn't think a pointer was going to be cool. But I'm terrible with the two thumbs. Like I
Yeah.
don't play first person shooters because I can't coordinate my two thumbs on the joysticks
Oh yeah.
fluidly. I
Uh
can't
huh.
do it. I'm choppy and I suck. And when the Wii's like, "Hey man, you want to play some first person shooters? Here's a pointer. You just point at what you're shooting." I was like, "Dude, this is awesome!"
Sweet.
Like, and
I'm
and
all
they
for it.
and they took full advantage of that system. Like all the parts where the GameCube failed, which
Uh
the
huh.
GameCube was supposed to be as good as the Nintendo, but now it's on a disc, so the games can be bigger and the graphics can be smoother. And even though it was like 128 bits instead of 64, the games were mostly short, small, boring games. But then on the Wii, they're like, okay, well, we're going to stop doing those stupid little CD things and go to like the
Mm-hmm.
full size disc, and we're really going to take advantage of this disc thing, and we're really going to incorporate these motion controls, and we're going to take advantage of online capabilities. And it was like they hit it. They hit the nail right on the head. They
Yeah.
fully utilized all the capabilities of it. And then, of course, they went into the Wii U. They're like, we're going to do portable gaming, and it sucked. And
Yeah.
then, but they've nailed it
Mm-hmm.
with the Switch. I don't know.
Yeah. They tried to be portable with it with the Wii U, but it quite wasn't portable because you couldn't take it away from your TV. You know,
Yeah.
it's you still had to have it in the living room,
Mm-hmm.
to do it, and it just didn't quite work like what people expected. Plus, it really was just like the Switch 2.0 or the Wii 2.0. I mean, really is what it was. I mean, it really just was kind of like
Mm-hmm.
it should have been just an add-on to the Wii.
Right. Yeah. They should have. That's exactly what they should have done. Is like, we're going to make a gamepad as an add-on to the Wii. The gamepad is going to have capabilities to be HD,
Mm-hmm.
which the Wii wasn't yet. So like, you can play these games. We're going to come out with Wii U games that can be ran on the Wii, but when you play it on the gamepad, it's in high def. It's just scaled back when you play it on a TV, this and that.
Yeah.
But like, they wanted to get into the HD market. They wanted that portability. They wanted it to so that like if your kid's in the room with you, you can watch the
Mm-hmm.
TV, they can play their game. But like you said, the system wasn't the gamepad. The system was still the big brick that was sitting in your entertainment center. The
Yeah.
gamepad was just an extra screen slash controller, and it's clunky. It's too wide. It's too
Mm-hmm.
thick. The buttons are too spaced out. Like
Yeah.
it
Didn't
didn't
work.
it didn't work.
Yeah.
And like with our Wii U now, if we get more than like a foot away from the system, the gamepad only works like half the time. It
Hmm.
loses the signal because there's interference because I've got the switch going or I've got wireless TV, you know,
Yeah.
like
Just doesn't quite work.
streaming
Yeah.
on the TV. So there's all these things and it's the signal. It's like, yeah, it's terrible. But then
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo's like, oh, we figured it out. We make the gamepad the system.
And then you can add it, onto, like this little brick thing that will put it on your TV. And
Mm-hmm.
it's instantaneous almost. You plug it in and boom, it right to your TV and
Boom.
you can keep
It,
playing,
it
you
turns
know?
your TV on to the
Yeah.
correct input for
Yeah.
you. It
Uh huh.
will charge the system while it's
Mm-hmm.
on there so that when
Yeah.
you're not playing, you just leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like it's really good. And like it's a fairly sturdy system. Of course, the Joy-Con thing sucks.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's
for all the good things you can say about the Switch, there are some mess ups, but
yeah, there's the drift is actually happening and I had no clue. It happens a lot on Xbox also. The
oh wow.
Xbox One controllers. And I was like, interesting. I play a lot of Xbox because that's my main system. I've never had real drift issues, so I don't know. It's weird. I've gotten lucky. Knock on wood.
Yeah. Well, I know that they said it's a problem with like a KPI, so it's a
Yeah.
problem with a driver that's built into the operating system or whatever that's in the Joy-Con itself.
Uh huh.
But like the drift wasn't bad until my kids dropped the Joy Cons 50,000 freaking
And
times,
then it got 10 times worse. Yeah.
and now I'm like, I can't even play the game because if I stop, my character is just gonna run off the friggin' cliff.
Yeah.
Like I can't, or like I can't run away from the boss because I
Uh-huh.
have to go right, and my controller drifts so badly to the left that I'm dying every time I fight this boss because I'm just walking in
Hmm.
that direct and not running. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got my the Switch Pro controller. I've had that for a couple weeks now, and it's fine.
Uh-huh.
It's perfect. My kids aren't even
Yeah.
allowed to touch it. So
You're like, no, this is not your
like, you don't
controller.
get like
Nope.
you've dropped my Joy-Con so many times. I have to spend
Uh-huh.
my own money to buy a new controller.
Yeah.
Don't even look at it.
Yeah. Nope. Can't touch it. Nope. You're cut off. Yeah. No, I love the Switch. I mean, I sit here and play it all the time. My only biggest gripe with it is the battery.
Yeah.
It just is not good. I understand the newer one that they came out with. Um, the battery's better because they upgraded the original Switch before they came out with the Switch Lite,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. I can only imagine though how it's going to be with the Switch if there is a true Switch Pro coming out, like they say. There's supposed to be better graphics and better everything with it. Imagine how long that battery's going to last. You know,
Oh
you're going to get like half an hour in and well, that
yeah.
was fun.
If they don't increase the battery, but they give you like 4K, a 4K
Yeah.
screen
Uh-huh.
on the Switch
Yeah.
itself, it's like, well, yeah, that's I get like 8 minutes out of this. Because right now you can go if you have like a full charge, you can play for like 2 hours
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
it's like low
Mhm.
battery. It's like
Mhm.
you get like 2 hours out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Um,
never turn mine fully off. It's always just in sleep mode cuz
yeah, I just plug it in
yeah.
and let it go to sleep. Or when I'm done, I hit the home and go down to the little menu and all the way over and sleep,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't even do that. I just press the power button on the top and put it in
yeah,
the
and
mode
sleep
that
mode.
way. But yeah, it's whatever. I mean, it's still fun. I'm playing. I mean, Animal Crossing still going through that, playing that quite a bit. Definitely nowhere near what other people are at. Um, just because I don't play it as much as other people. Plus, I've been busier during the days, so you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. I mean, I don't know when there'll be another game that I'll end up getting for it, but you know, there's nothing really on the horizon that's kind of out there that's quite interesting me yet.
Yeah, not really. When once they start getting closer to being able to release stuff for like Metroid Prime 4, I'll be
Yeah,
pretty interested in
yeah,
that.
me
But I
too.
mean, like,
Yeah.
I just picked up since the quarantine started. I picked back up and was playing Breath of the Wild, just hanging out. And then my son had Link's Awakening DX or the Link's
Okay. Yeah.
Awakening one,
Uh
so I
huh.
played that, got all the hearts, all the upgrades, and
Uh huh.
all the shells and whatever. That was a lot of fun. It was fun to replay that. And I really like the way they did the graphics and stuff. You know,
Mhm.
there's another one of those departures where they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do something different," but like it's a port of a Game Boy game. I actually thought it was kind of cute, and you know how they did it. I actually I actually
Yeah.
really liked it.
Mhm.
The aesthetic of it was really cool, and so that put me in a Zelda mood. But then I bought Luigi's Mansion 3, so I'm almost done with that. But then I
Yeah.
also picked up Hyrule Warriors
Okay.
Definitive
Yeah.
Edition.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been playing for the last like 2.5 weeks or so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's. I still need to go back and play Links and finish finish beating that, and I picked up Civilization 6, and play. I need to play some more of that because that's a fun game.
Yeah. So, oh
Um,
man, the Switch version
yeah,
sucks. I have it too, and I
yeah,
mean it
it's
doesn't
not.
suck, but it's not.
Yeah,
It's not like the old ones, man. Like
no.
Civ 4 and Civ 5 were like, well, I
Hmm.
guess for me it was like Civ 3 and Civ 4. Like those were
Yeah,
my Civ
yeah.
games, man. Like they were easy,
Hmm.
not easy, but like once you learned a good groove, like you can redo that groove every single time. And yeah, the
Uh huh.
Civ 6 is a lot more difficult because it's like they have the neutral territories and stuff. And
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think I've picked up on the nuances.
yeah. It's a lot
So,
different. It is a big change. Definitely a big change. So,
yeah.
well, I think that's kind of a good place to stop for the night. Going pretty well.
That was, yeah, Lord of the Rings, and we talked about it for like 20 minutes and then
Yeah.
moved on. But I mean, it's
It
these
happens.
books have been out since
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
1930s.
So,
The movies are done.
yeah.
The show's not quite here yet, so there's only
Yeah.
so much that we could have
Yeah.
talked about it.
Exactly. Exactly. We got some talking though about it,
Yeah,
you know.
it was good. I was good. I like,
Uh-huh.
like I said, I never get to
Yeah.
talk about it except for the few times a year where I put the
Mhm.
movies on and my
Yeah.
kids watch it with me.
Yeah.
And my wife leaves the room because she hates movies that are so long. Yeah, my wife and I have like nothing in common. Just like, other than the
That's
fact that we both love our kids, like I don't think there's anything else that we love together.
it keeps you two
But
going well, so you're not
love each
around each
other.
other fighting all the time, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. I don't have to hear her like, "Oh, Legolas sucks. Aragorn's lame," and I'd be like, "Ooh,
this could be an
this isn't
issue.
gonna work. This
Yeah.
isn't gonna work for her." She's actually her favorite character from the movies is Pippin. So, and I'm like, of the four hobbits, he's my least favorite, and of the nine Fellowship members, he's my least favorite.
Yeah.
So
Um
she
yeah.
thinks he's cute. I'm like, that of the four actors that played the Hobbit, Billy Boyd is the oldest one, even though
It's like yeah,
Pippin's the youngest Hobbit.
I know.
Yeah,
It's like
she's
okay,
like, whatever,
whatever.
he's cute. I'm like, all right,
Sure.
if it'll get you to watch the movies,
Hey,
then
why not?
let's watch them. But
Hey.
yeah, she won't even touch the Hobbit movie.
Yeah. Like nope, sorry, Pippin's not in there. Not going there. uh anyways, yeah, so we had a few people tune in here and there from different sources, so I kind of like this different multiple places that we can do and get people hopefully more and more talking as we go. I mean, only episode 3, so every Thursday, usually between 8:30 and 9, we go live, talk for an hour to an hour and a half, somewhere in there. You
Yeah,
can catch us on all the different sources, like I just said: Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So tune in, check us out. Um, Come chat with me on Twitter at Nerdology5280. And then Ryan, you've got the
yeah,
Twitter too.
I do. Yeah, I have a Twitter. I'm over at Ryan Does It Nerdy,
Yeah,
because that's how I do it. So,
yeah,
and just the stuff I talk about on here with Jamie, that's what I talk about on there. I recently just posted a picture from The Rise of Skywalker with the ghost, where the Millennium Falcon comes down and the ghost is right there, because
hmm
I had to call out all the people that saw the movie and didn't tell me that the ghost appears. So
yeah,
I just recently posted that on
yeah,
Twitter.
yeah.
Zero
Suppose,
comments,
yeah,
zero likes.
yeah.
So
Hey.
it's,
You're
things
like,
are
thanks.
going good.
Yeah, you're like, hey, whatever. That's funny. You're like, I am living to the top of my potential right now with this. Yes.
I'm pretty sure that all like of the 100 followers of the massive 100 followers I
Yeah.
have on Twitter, that 99 of them are just holdovers from when I was doing Talkin' Snicked,
Uh huh.
and none of them were like, they're all like, I don't care about your Star Wars opinions, you moron.
uh, Jesus. They're like, we don't care. We want to have you talk more Wolverine or X-Men. Well, I'm done
Yeah,
talking about
I'm
that
like,
for
yeah,
now. I'm good.
the passion's gone for now. I'm
Yeah.
just not feeling Marvel on a
Yeah.
whole. I'm not feeling
Yeah.
the X-Men right now.
Yeah.
So maybe when the pandemic thing is done and they're able to get more into Wolverine, I might
Yeah.
pick up the current ongoing and I can talk about that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, for now. So yeah, check us out. Tune in. Come talk some nerd or whatever else. I mean, we talk about all kinds of stuff. I mean, the podcast definitely started out in a whole different turn this time compared to others. So, yeah. So you never know what we'll talk about. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Uh, and I guess we will hopefully see you next week. Have a good night.